We are live. Peace, 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 my proud family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and we are gifted and honored to welcome back to the platform as promised. On this evening, we got a cosmic restoration going on today, and we have our elevated mother goddess to come give us a word of empowerment, a word of encouragement, a word of love and compassion, and a word of elevation. So let me welcome back to the microphone. Queen Mother Nigist is in the building. Peace and love to you, Mother Goddess. How are you feeling?
Yes, I'm feeling good. Give thanks for life, of course. It's always a pleasure to be back on the Do the Knowledge Radio live stream. Sharing my dialogues and sharing my knowledge to the listening ears. Those who hear will learn. So I was asking you a little while ago about fragment souls. Are you familiar with fragmented souls? Because a lot of people probably never even heard of it before. So maybe I could just ask the simple question: how much of your soul do you think is fragmented? And that's just it's not like a embarrassing question or anything like that. It's just a typical question. How much of your soul do you think is fragmented, knowledge born? That question is for you, knowledge born.
I think a great deal of it because of my chosen profession. I spent 17 years in the military, and
Hmm.
5 years of that directly was in combat. So I think a lot of what I endured physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically uh, has bared on my spirit. So many of those things, and if it wasn't for my relationship with nature, my relationship with spirit,
I think you was breaking up. I didn't hear anything you said just now. You're having a bad connection. So unfortunately, you just said.
and my joint went out.
Yeah, and everything just blinked out. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear anything you said. So if you was talking, I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry.
And I'm accustomed to working around this internet connection. So not only is my spirit or soul fragmented, so is my internet connection.
Yeah, because when you was talking, I didn't hear anything. And I said, he's going in right now. But I don't hear nothing. He was going in, wasn't you?
No, I left it because once I saw the screen
You
go
realize?
black,
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
know, I
Okay.
know that. Yeah, you ain't hear nothing, so I was like, let
Okay.
me just leave it
It was
alone, leave and come back
right.
and see what's going on. I was relating to that experience of being in combat and in war,
Right.
and
You mentioned that.
you lose aspects of yourself uh,
Yeah.
in those types of situations. So I know these things have a bearing on my psyche, on my spirit, things like that. So I know from
Exactly.
that experience and the traditions and the conditions surrounding my birth on the planet, that's another story. Have its own set. uh, implications in that regard. So I wouldn't be one of those people and say I'm not affected by, these life experiences that happen. They have a
Yeah.
bearing, that has a resonance, but how you translate those is what matters. So
To try and bring your pieces back. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a process that you could go through to get those fragmented pieces of your soul that have broken off. It's a process you can go through, like a certain healing, to bring everything back whole again. And when you go through that process, well, then actually, let me just start, since we're just freestyle talking. I'll just go right on into it. So the first thing is, okay, of course, fragment souls and attachment. So spirits and dark forces attached to people. I think we all are familiar with that side, the dark side reflection of yourself. So temporary cuts and holes in the energy field, which is also called your aura, are caused by fear, anger, and or fear-related emotions. Using drugs, alcohol, loss of your personal power. This power is lost by drug and alcohol, fear, anger, giving parts of your power away to others, and soul loss from traumatic experiences. And these things could come from temporarily situations. And these situations can cause cuts and holes in your aura field as well. So then they have a permanent, when you come with permanent cuts and holes in the energy field are caused by a loss of personal power on a deeper level involving soul fragmentation. So, it can either be temporarily where you will heal from it, and then your soul will naturally come back. Pieces of your soul will naturally come back. And then you have a permanent part of it where it's more in a deeper level involved, and you would definitely need like a particular healing done to bring those pieces back whole again. So the way you see life, the way you interact with others, your spiritual, energetic health, your beliefs and internal programming, your lifestyle, your habits, personality can all be called parts of the dark side. The bigger the dark side, the more you are open to darker forces. So a fragmented soul, traumatic experiences, loss of power, which is created of a separation of the soul energy from a person's aura. All human beings have it. As a human being goes, let me turn my page, through its life on earth, they may lose parts of its soul through trauma, disappointments, loss of power, loss of a loved one, loss of a parent, um, or just simply just giving your power away. The soul is made up of many parts, pieces, fragments, and personalities, which can become fragmented from the whole of the soul. Okay? The way our minds and soul deal with pain, trauma, disappointments, etc., is to create a separation from the pain. And when it's too much for your psyche to deal with, a part of your consciousness and soul energy splits off, and it separates the body from the body in order to protect you. So these parts of the soul consciousness and energy goes into a separate reality or dimension, or what is referred to as non-ordinary reality by a shaman or other spiritual healers. This separation immediately is defined as a whole, HOLE, permanent whole to be exact. They do not close, they stay open until the soul part that was separate is brought back. Right in my page, is brought back. Um, Dark spirits attached to people through cuts. Well, actually, let me start here. Okay, so the type of entities and dark forces that could attach itself to you once those fragments of your soul are broken off. Because once half of that, most of your soul is broken off, now you're open for darker entities to attach itself to you. So it looks for that vulnerability in humans, and once they see it, then they go and attach themselves to it. So you have different types of dark forces or entities that exist. You have the demons, which are non-human dark energy beings, and demons are the most common dark force entity. And then you also have dark ETs and reptilians or grays. And those are higher dark level entities that are alien ET based, extraterrestrial. Then you have the fallen angels, dark angelic beings, which are mostly rare. Then you have the negative spirit entities, dark or negative spirits slash souls that work with the dark forces. Um, so dark forces, spirits attached to people through cuts, holes, and distortions in the energy field, aura, or your soul, and the outer layer of the energy field that emanates from every person. Cuts and holes of the energetic openings develop in the energy field from weak emotions and a loss of personal power. Cuts and holes that develop can be temporarily or permanent, as I was saying before. So, soul fragmentation um, is the main reason most people pick up spiritual attachments. 90 to 95% will all have some type of serious soul loss in this lifetime. And that's 90 to 95%. So we're not, if you're not alone, you know what I mean? If you're a victim to this, to what I've read so far, trust me, you're not alone, because 90 to 95 of people on the planet um, pick up spiritual attachment. Okay, so we all handle life differently, obviously. However, it doesn't change the soul from fragmenting. So even though you might be stronger than me, it doesn't stop my soul from being fragmented if I'm going through anything. And it's not going to stop your soul from being fragmented if you're going through anything. All right. This creates an opening for an entity to attach. How to retrieve your lost soul? You will need to get a soul retrieval work and a spirit attachment release healing. And most shamanic healers are trained in soul retrieval work, and they go through like 3 chambers in the lower worlds to retrieve your soul and release the attachment. So, what causes, some more causes of soul loss and fragmentations? Prolonged pain, you know, physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. A lot of people have been molested or suffered from domestic violence for many years. Some people are orphans, grew up in foster care or orphanage, and they, was exposed to certain things that wasn't so pleasant. Um, Sometimes some people say they experience being bullied or dominated by others. They were forced to do things that they didn't want to do, that pretty much kind of like opens you up, allowing yourself to people or some dark entities, being neglected or unloved as a child or even in your adulthood, negative or power trip relationships. Sometimes we be in relationships that we know are not good and we still stay 10, 15 years down the line. It's just getting worse and worse. And then when you two finally wake up and say, hey, this is not going to work, we need to break it off, you know, you already done gave up half of your soul to one another. So, of course, you're walking off with fragments missing. And a lot of people do have a lot of power trip relationships where one want to be more powerful and dominant in the relationship than the other. They don't know how to balance their relationships. Substance abuse, other addictions not related to alcohol, um, not being true to oneself, disowning or disallowing parts of oneself. Like a lot of times we walk around here and say, oh, I don't like my nose, I don't like my teeth, my toes, I don't like my eyes, I don't like that my hair is this color, I don't like that my hair is that color. Those are attachments and fragmentations of your soul. Being mistreated or abused in life or social situations. People always constantly cursing you out. Can't even have a decent conversation without the person talking down to you. We don't realize, the little simple things that we do or say could just, distract a person's soul, could actually distort their soul. We don't really understand how deep that is. giving your power to another person, like I said, harboring resentment or unresolved pain. Sometimes we hold grudges for years on down the line. We don't know how to just, hey, live and let live, forgive and forget. Or if you don't want to forget it, at least have some peace in your heart to say, okay, I'm moved on from it. I'm leaving them where they at with that, because I don't want this thing to damage me anymore. A lot of us walk around here with a lot of imagination. So we have to like take these things into consideration, because it opens us up and it causes our soul to become fragmented. Of course, death of a child, nobody wants to experience that. So of course, if you experience death of a child, um, your soul is definitely going to be damaged. There's no doubt about that. Parent or close friend, loss of a parent or close friend or close family member, loss of a husband and a wife, a close lover, ex-lover, whatever. Severely physically traumatic accidents. Sometimes people have bad car accidents or just typical accidents in general, that they almost lost their life or they broke a bone or something like that. That too could break fragments off of your soul. If you ever been shot or stabbed, that definitely breaks off fragments of your soul, because you go into shock. If someone shoots you, you're naturally going to go into shock. If you're stabbed, that's naturally a shock as well. So you can imagine if someone, your soul would be fragmented from that. I mean, this is not rocket science. This is easy, to comprehend and to put together in your own mind. Let me see. A sudden onset of diseases. Like for instance, say like if you went to the doctor and he says, "Oh, I got your test work back, Mr. Brown. You have cancer." You know, that's a sudden onset, because you didn't expect that him to just come and hit you with that. You thought he was coming to tell you your blood work is okay and you're fine, and now he's telling you this, so your body will go into a shock. Naturally, I can see some of your soul being fragmented from that, because you're not expecting to hear that. Surgeries and operations, sometimes even the minor surgeries and operations could break off pieces of your soul. The tooth pulled, it could be just that simple, especially if they had to put you under anesthesia. Codependent relationships where one has unconsciously given a part of one's soul to another, as in a parent, your children, intimate relationships, or if you've been exposed to war, chemical therapy, like chemotherapy or something like that, and radiation, natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes. You can also pick up these, not pick up, but you can also fragment your soul, and then also allow entities to attach to you through sex with another person. You can pick up their negative energies, and that will put holes and cuts in your aura. Doesn't matter if you're a religious person, you go to church 3 times a week, you're a vegetarian, you're vegan, you're doing yoga, you're meditative, you're praying, you're reading books, crystals, sage, amulets, spells, candles. All these things are good to help you in other areas of your life, but not in the context of dealing with a fragmented soul or soul loss. So it does not matter who you are, where you're from. If you experience a lot of these things that I just said, you fall under that category. And it doesn't matter how many books you read, how much sage you burn, that's not going to bring the soul back. And like I said, it's good to help you in other areas of your life, but not in the context of dealing with a fragmented soul or lost soul, or soul loss, excuse me, and retrieving how intelligent, advanced, spiritual, or conscious you may believe yourself to be. You are still susceptible to picking up attachments, which result in a fragmented soul. So what was I going to say? I'm going to go back to the beginning when I was talking about how the entities come in. and why sometimes these entities, once a person die, how come they don't cross over? Sometimes they stay here because they choose not to cross over because of some unfinished business here on earth. Maybe they want to protect a loved one, or because they were so caught up in the religion and they're scared to cross over because they think they're going to go to hell, because they know subconsciously that they wasn't living a upful lifestyle. So they're scared to go into to cross over and see what's on the other side waiting for. They don't stay, how could I put it, in a positive aspect. They pretty much stay stuck here, and then they turn kind of evil, or so, for lack of a better word. And then they find themselves attaching to people that has fragmented souls already. So once they see that there's an opening to attach themselves to a person, then here they come attaching themselves instead of them releasing and going over to the other side. They don't want to do that because they're scared that they may go to hell, because their religion had them so spooked out that they think they're going to go to hell if they let go of this earthly plane. Now they know they know they're dead. They know they're not in their flesh anymore, I should say, but they just refuse to stay here. And some of those are the spirits that be attaching to people. It's not necessarily demons or reptilians or grays, but I was just giving you a list of different dark forces and entities that attach themselves to you once your soul is fragmented. That's not to say that that this happened, that some people don't have the attachments. They just have the holes in their or cuts in their aura. Some people have both. It's just depending who you are and what it is you went through in your environment and things like that. So there was a story of a woman who was pregnant, and she had a car accident while she was pregnant, and she said that God showed her baby's soul, and it was like shattered in all these pieces, just shattered like glass, like how you just throw a bottle on the ground and it just shatters in a million small pieces. And to this day, her son has autism, and she's like, firmly believing that this cause happened because her son's when she was pregnant and had the accident, her son's soul was fragmented, and that's why he has the autism, because pieces of his soul is missing. He's not whole. So although it looked, she went to the doctor after the accident, they said, oh, everything is fine, blah blah blah. But as he grew up and got older, the autism started kicking in. You know, so these things is very serious. A lot of times we don't take these things very serious, but they are, and they should be taken into real deep consideration. Like I said, your soul is made up of many parts, pieces, and fragments, and personalities. And if it's not, if all of that is not together, then of course there's going to be problems. That's just, there's no other simpler way that I can say it. Of course, that there's definitely going to be a problem if those pieces are not together. So now I want to talk about um, how to retrieve your soul back and remove those attachments. Okay, so first I'll start with, of course, adding that your soul could be stolen from energy vampires, of course, giving your power away, um, things like that. So a shaman or a baba or a spiritual healer that specializes in the craft of soul retrieval is a person that you would need to go see to retrieve those broken pieces of your soul. And shaman means in the tongue in Siberia, it means spiritual healer or one who sees in the dark. And the big question is, what percentage of your soul is missing? And a lot of us don't, we know, but we don't know exactly how much. We just know, yeah, I've been going through some things in life. I know I can't be completely whole. But we have to understand that we need to know. And we need to, and if we, the moment that we feel pieces of it is missing, we got to find out what could we do to get those pieces back, because your soul is your vital life energy. It's the very essence of who you are, you know. And the trauma that causes pieces of our soul to break off in fragments due to all those emotional abuses and accidents and physical and mental abuse, the stabbings, the surgeries, divorce, addictions, the drugs, the bad relationships, you know, they kind of like suck the vital life force energy out of you. And that's where you feel like somebody stole your soul. You know, that saying is like, he just stole my soul. You know, I feel like he stole my soul and took it home with me and won't give it back, you know, or the energy vampires. You feel like when you're around a certain person, they're sucking your energy out of you like a vampire. This thing is very serious because your soul is your vital life force energy. And if you're feeling depleted, you know, you have to do something about that. You can't allow that to keep happening because you need to have this, your soul has to have life, you know? So the shaman is from the Tungus tribe in Siberia. Of course, other parts of the world, different countries in the world, they may not say shaman, they may say spiritual healer, they may say a Baba, they may say a Brahmin, or, you know, they have, every country have its own special word for people that, one who sees in the dark or one who is a spiritual healer, but they all do the same work, they just call it a different name. So you may find, your research may find the name being called something else, but you'll still relate what they do to be the same as what a shaman would do. But this word shaman, or this actual practice, this actual healing that's done, has been around for over 100,000 years. So it's not nothing new. You know, it's been on this planet for a very, very long time. You know, so that just goes to show you how our ancestors and the ancients view this type of healing, you know, how important this type of healing is, that has been around so many years. Okay, so a shaman, a spiritual Baba, or a healer, they'll go through 3 levels to complete the healing. And the first level is it, well, I would say chambers. I'll call them chambers because they call them chambers. So I'll call them chambers too. So what the shaman would do is he they believe that there are like 3 worlds. You have the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. So the lower world is where the soul retrieval ceremonies of the shaman goes on. And the shaman enters the lower world through the trunks of the trees, through the root, and then under the trunk is the roots of the trees. And that brings them beneath the earth. So that's their passageway to get to this lower world, this third world, this non-ordinary world, this other reality, to go bring your soul parts back. That's where the shaman is gonna go. Um, you know, so I think I'm missing something. Did I say no? Okay. I want to make sure I stay on track. So whenever you start feeling like, you know, why certain people do things, why is my life like this, why I feel broken, I don't know what's going on with me, I don't care, you feel revengeful all the time, angry, you know, your actions is just totally bizarre and unacceptable. These shamans go and bring back your soul parts and put you back together again. So when the shamans go into this lower world, they find out. So let's just say you got 9 soul parts throughout your lifetime that broke away from you. You know what I'm saying? So through the different ages of your life, there was some soul fragmentation going on. So the shaman goes and talk and brings back all those parts, all those incidents that happen in your life, and he brings them back to you, brings them back to your soul. It's like a big puzzle, and you got 9 pieces of your puzzle's been missing. Throughout time, you was missing a piece. Now you got it. You miss some piece, so this shaman is going to bring those pieces of the puzzle back to put you back together. So, like I said, during this journey, the shaman is going to meet up with his spirit guides. Well, I didn't say that before. I'm saying that now. The shaman will meet up with his spirit guides and his animal guides, because everybody have a power animal that's assigned to them at birth, you know, and they will guide them. His spirit guides and his animal guides will guide the shaman to find your lost folks. So not only is the shaman entering this lower world um, through the trunk and the roots of the trees to get beneath the earth, he's not going by himself. He has his spirit guides with him, and he has his power animals with him. So nothing is going to go wrong. Nothing is going to go wrong. Everything is going to go right. There's never a moment where, and there's never a story in history where a shaman couldn't bring back a piece of the soul. Because when you're coming correct, and that person is true to their craft and true to what they do, the healing always comes out ways. So how does the shaman get to that mindset to go to this lower world? Um, the shaman uses maybe rattles, they beat the drums, they chant. And through this chanting and drumming and rattling, it takes the shaman's mind to a theta wave range, which is that deep meditation, deep trance or hypnosis zone, you know, that deep sleep that we go through every night. Mind goes through that theta wave. And theta is Theta. And he speaks to your soul parts that are lost, and he convinces them to come back to your body. All right. And as he's convincing them to come back to your body, he's going to bring back, he's going to go through the first chamber is to convince you to come back to your body. Then the second chamber would be, he will go through the chamber of, to show you what age that your soul was fragmented, you know, where and how, and who if there were any perpetrators involved, you know. Then the third chamber would be the contracts, chambers of contracts. And this soul contracts that the shaman will that's when the shaman learns if you have any specific contracts with people from past lives, you know, or that you have in a past life of a version of your own self, like in the fifth dimension. They always say you have a dimensional double, you know. So he'll go into that dimensional space and find out if there's any contract running there and settle that score. So that way, if he brings the soul back, it doesn't get snatched back away because you haven't fulfilled your deeds, so to speak. Yeah, so those are the three chambers that the shamans go through. There's in the philosophy of the shamans, there are three worlds: upper, middle, lower, and it's the lower world that the shaman travels through. Trunk of the trees, go to the trunk of the trees to go under the earth, beneath the earth, with his spirit guides and his power animals guiding him and protecting him. And then he brings you back. And as he's bringing you back, he's arranging these deals. Well, I don't like to say deals because it's not a deal, but he is settling these contracts, any past life contracts you may have. Any contract people's from past lives, not just your own contract that you may have with, let's just say, another altered world. You may have a contract with another altered world, and he will settle that for you over there. You may have a contract with someone from your past life. He will settle that over there. So whatever is going on in that lower world or past lives, That's the shaman's job, is to clear up all of that debt for you. So there'll be no reason for your soul to detach itself again, and then you'll be back in the same situation that you were in the beginning. Um, no, I wanted to say I'm missing one more thing that adds on to that. Let me see if I can find it. I had wrote it on the same paper here, but I guess I did. Okay, so it's basically, here it is. Basically, the shaman will bring back a gift, spiritual tool. So within the third chamber, let me see something, because I want to make sure I have my chambers right. Okay, so the first chamber is he will travel, like I said, through the roots of the trunk of the trees to beneath the earth to find your missing soul parts, and he'll be shown, who, where, when, how, who's the perpetrator involved. Then your second chamber is the contracts, and the third chamber is when the shaman will bring back a gift or a spiritual tool, and the chamber of treasures is called, or the chamber of treasures and medicine, because the spiritual tool is like a medicine. That way, to maintain your soul that he brought back to you, helping the soul to remain with you, animal, which will assist you in the healing. And the power animal is like symbolically there to show you what you need to overcome or what you need to do. And this power animal, has certain characteristics, and you can use these characteristics to help you in your healing. This particular animal have a behavior, a certain type of energy, and you can use that behavior or that particular energy to help you move forward once your soul. And this power animal, you want to utilize it in your life all the time. You want to always have this power animal in your heart and your mind when you're making decisions, when you're doing things, how you're living, how you're eating, anything from the smallest to the biggest thing you do. These power animals have been with you for ages, and they love you. So once you take this journey to go and bring back your soul here to the shaman, and the shaman brings them back and then tells you how to utilize them in your life. So the shaman will definitely tell you, like after the session is over, after the healing session is over, the shaman will definitely tell you how and who caused the fragmented soul, based on the viewers, based on their review of that journey or whatever. And just to put it out there, based on healers around the world, they found that in the United States alone, 70 to 80% or more have spirit entities, ghosts, human souls attached to them. 50 to 60% or more of the population have dark forces, demons, and or ETs attached to them. 80 to 90% of the population have some form of entity attached to their house or to their land. So this is just the United States alone that these high numbers exist. So can you just imagine if it was a worldwide statistic? It would just, it would be 100% probably of all of this that I just said, So this is not something to be taken lightly or to play around with, and when you're dealing with your spiritual health, you always want to make sure that your spiritual health is being fed the right things, and you want to repair it, because just like you said, right, going Allah, you was in the military, and one of the things that can cause a soul fragmentation is, being exposed to war. You get what I'm trying to say? So not saying that you was probably actually in war, but the whole military vibration alone, you know what I'm saying, is a whole situation in itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's like really, something that one should think about if they were in war or they were in the military, you know, to retrieve their soul back, to get their soul back. Because I know a lot of times people say they experience things in the military that wasn't, kosher to them, wasn't exactly the right way to be, wasn't the humane thing to be, the humane thing to do. And they were exposed to this or had to do things they didn't want to do themselves. So you got to realize that your body goes through a lot physically, and then your spiritual body goes through a lot. You can't see it. So, okay, I know how to cope with it. I know how to deal with it, but because you're not looking at it. But when you have a shaman that specializes in this craft, he could look at your spirit and tell that you're broken up. Or you don't even have to be a shaman. You can just be like really tapped in. You know what I'm saying? You could be spiritually tapped in, and you can just look at a person and just tell by their behavior. And you can look at some people could see auras, and you can see the energy field around them, and you can tell like if it's whole. Whole mean WHOLE. Does it fit all the way around their body? Is it only halfway on their body? Do you see little black dots around it? Those are the little holes, HOLE, little cuts in it. So, I can feel like when a person's aura is low. I can feel like when they have a depletion or they're spiritually sick. When I took a Reiki course back in 2011, not 11, 2015, no, 2011, we covered a chapter on that. And then I recently just did some new research again just to refresh my memory for what I learned back in 2011. And it's just as real as it was back in 2011. The signs and the symptoms that people express, it's just, words can't even explain it. And a lot of us is just walking around here so broken and so damaged. So, and they don't see anything wrong with it, because a lot of times the attachments that attach to you, they make you feel like it's okay to be that way because it's been on you for so long and you've been living that way for so long that you have even convinced yourself that this is the way to be. You've convinced yourself that it's right for you to be that way. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we just have to start thinking more, healing our spirit, cleaning our spirit back. We have to start thinking in these ways. And it doesn't matter if it's a Native American shaman. It doesn't matter if it's a Spanish shaman. It doesn't matter if it's an African shaman. What matters is, it'd be nice if you can get a shaman that looks like you, of course, no problem. But that's not necessary. And the reason why I say it's not necessary, because where they're from and if they look like you or not, it's not really the matter when it's dealing with this type of situation. And the reason why I say that is because all you need to worry about is if the person that's doing the healing has a positive track record, have some years experiences under their belt, and they're true to the craft. They know what they're doing. And when you speak to them before you even doing your healing, you're supposed to have a conversation with them, even if it's just 5 minutes, because that's when you're going to start picking up each other's vibes to even know if this person is the right person to do a healing with them. And you'll know, like, yes, I can trust this person to do a healing for me. So when it comes to soul retrieval, because it's been around for over 100,000 years and it's a worldwide thing, and certain people are raised in it, raised up from a small child in that craft to learn how to retrieve souls back. So determining, wanting to have a particular person to do it, and it'd be beautiful if you could find that particular person, but it's really not necessary. You just got to worry about making sure that person that's doing it knows what they're doing. That's what you have to worry about. That's the main thing. Worry about that, because there's a lot of people out here that, and when you leave them, you're just as broken as you was when you went to them. So it's all about what resonates with you. and if you're feeling that person and if that person is feeling you, because a lot of times you may say, oh, I know one in my local neighborhood, and it'd be nice to go to one in your local neighborhood, but if their track record is not good, you don't want to deal with them. You might have to go to another state or another country, and a lot of times you don't have to be in person, because now we have internet, we have telephone, we have Skype, we have FaceTime. So these healings could go on long distance. You don't necessarily have to go meet the person in person, because if the shaman knows what they're doing, he or she wouldn't necessarily need to be in person anyway to journey into the third world, in the bottom of the trunk of the trees, into the roots, into beneath the earth. To go through those three chambers of healing for you. You wouldn't need to be in person, because they can do that just in the comfort of their own home. So I just wanted to people may say, oh, I only want Native Americans to do it because they think shaman only links to Native Americans, but it doesn't. People all over the continent, people in Africa, people in Asia and China may not use the word shaman, like I said earlier, but they specialize in this same particular craft. They go through the same process with the power animals. They bring back the chamber of treasures with medicine and everything. So if you when I was reading, if you see yourself in any of those examples that I mentioned, how you will have a soul loss, don't be afraid to go seek help. Because a lot of us, we have this pride thing, and we think that we're invincible. We think we have the best childhood. We think that we had the perfect marriage, or we have a perfect relationship, and we don't need it. And if you're like, you've been traumatized some kind of way in your life. You've been through some type of hurt, some kind of depression, some kind of disappointment, somewhere down the line in your life. It may not have been when you was a child, but I'm sure in your adulthood you have experienced something like that. And some of us we know, like, you know, you know, you've been through certain things in your life, and you know something is not right. You know you're not exactly whole like you should be. You know what I mean? So just the mere fact that you're knowing that, you may want to, go and seek out a shaman to bring back your soul parts. So knowledge born Allah. Are you there, or you're having dinner again? Knowledge born Allah. Your knowledge born Allah just turns off the camera and the mic, and he just lets me go.
I'm over here dancing.
Huh?
I'm over here dancing.
You said you dancing?
Yeah.
Why are you dancing?
I was over here jamming, dancing, listening to you, giving up these jewels.
So what's your intake on everything?
I think this is a subject, like you said, that is not properly introduced. I travel in a lot of spiritual circles, and you know, different people have different ways of explaining things. You know, when you get around those that are serious minded, they have a way to explain these things to you. You know, different cultures have different words for different things. So the way you broke things down, category by category, they're intertwined with the reason for birth. The Bible say we was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So if you speak that language, you gave an understanding of what those things are. So if you look at it from a medical standpoint, well, a healing standpoint, in that kind of terminology, we come to the earth with inherited weaknesses, meaning, we come from different incarnations, and the sum total of all of those incarnations with it comes with it its own set of things that we're here to learn to eradicate, or lessons learned, our own personal mission and a collective mission that we have in regards to our bloodline. So if we look at it in regards to these kinds of connections in different circles, all these things equate to soul tears and soul ties because of unfinished work from you specifically, and then collective work from your bloodline. So if we look at it, we already come with it, and then on our journey, on our path, we inherit other, tears and ties for things. Because if we look at everything in nature, as I was taught, everything eats, and also
Right.
everything is in motion. Everything has a resonance. You see what I'm saying? So either you could be using what you learn to help heal you, or these things continue to feed on you. You become a source for a parasite, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Based on you not dealing with these issues, and they go unresolved,
Exactly.
and they go from generation to generation. So I can definitely relate, just based in, my own personal life experience with this incarnation and with previous incarnations that they're brought forth to you along this path, from your guides, from your ancestors, things like that. And once you take up this task of reconciling, of healing, everybody comes with their stuff. If you remember that movie Sixth Sense, as soon as the guy, the young boy in there, his name would happen to be Malcolm. Was it Malcolm? I think it was Cole. I think the doctor who helped him, his name was Malcolm, but I think his name was Cole. As soon as he picked up the mantle to understand what those forces was, he helped not only himself, but everybody else around him was made
Found
better
him.
for it, including the doctor. You see what I'm saying? So now he had to come to that realization that he was one of the people. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He was one of those forces, but he was a force nonetheless to help him do what he needed to do. You see what I'm saying? So now it was a different situation. So then he had to explain to his mother about her mother. You see what I'm saying? So like
Yes.
all of these things were all interconnected in regards to, what that path was and what that journey was. But before it, it was scary. It was splintering. He couldn't even tell the woman who gave him life what was going on, because all those external forces, he had allowed them to make the decision for him. You see what I'm saying? So even at first, his mother was like, "Look at my face," and he knew that she was,
Didn't understand it.
wasn't ready. She still wasn't ready until that bumblebee pendant, and then that time that she thought her mother didn't come to that recital. You see what I'm saying? She said, uh, and then when she asked that question every time she went to her grave, "Do I make her proud?" She said, "Every day." You see what I'm saying? So that was
Exactly.
like a unifying situation in an example to where now, okay, you on this path. These are the things that come along with it until you change your way of being and actualizing your experience. These things are no longer burdens. These things are now blessings. You see, so he turned into like a superhero. He like you see that car up there. Somebody's in an accident. They got hurt real bad. They died.
Exactly.
He's like, "What do you see him now?" Yeah, she right here at
Yeah,
the
right
car
here at
door.
my window.
You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? So it's like that. That was a different kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? So when you taking on these tasks in this process, on this path to self discovery, as I was taught by one of my teachers, you start off with you. You start off with you. It's very localized. It's very specific. It's very, internal. And doing that internal work, you begin to look outwardly, back into your family life, and all of these things. So you become the sum total and the avenger for your bloodline. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? So you know, I'm paying attention to what you're saying, and it's just correlating with a lot of things that I've been taught in different circles along the path and along the way. So I'm thankful that you're able to bridge these gaps, and not only bridge them, but say, "Hey, there's help. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times we just come to these conclusions and we just got to keep the faith sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, there's a prescription. As there's a prescription in nature for every ailment, there's a prescription in nature for these maladies, these afflictions that confront us.
Yes. And it's good how you speak about like the generational bloodlines, because our ancestral lineages, they some of them are causes of our soul loss. From the
Right.
transatlantic slave trade syndrome, the traumatic
Right.
slave trade syndrome, that in our DNA from generation to generation, 16 to 33 generations deep. And although I wasn't actually on the plantation picking it, but my great greats were, and the trauma that was in their genes is passed on into my genes. If I'm not able to, realize that this is what's happening, because a lot of them are still walking, a lot of us
Right.
walking around, not even thinking that something like that exists, that they could be genetically
Right.
sick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
even with that, the average Black person needs to go get a soul retrieval, just from being a descendant of slaves, or so-called
Right.
slaves, I would say. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Because we was automatically born into a particular paradigm that shifted our consciousness right even before we was born,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm paying attention. Okay, I'm jamming over here, listening.
It's strange.
You know.
It sounds strange how you talk about the sixth sense, but that is like right on point. It's just right on point, because he even was, I remember that part in the movie where the little boy was even able to show this man that his wife was poisoning their daughter, and that's what she said, and she
Right.
gave him the
In front of
videotape.
everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just imagine if the father was like, what is this little boy talking about? Man, take this. We would have never knew. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's real. It really is real, and I think that we're in a consciousness right now. We're in a shift right now with the whole COVID going on. That these things
Mm-hmm.
are starting to come to light, and because they're coming to light, we need to start taking advantage of these things for our own spiritual, because our soul need restoring. Psalms 23 talk about he restored my soul. You know what I mean? So we need to restore our soul. If you remember the story with Asar and Aset, when Asar's brother killed him and cut his body up into 12 or 14 pieces and scattered it all over Kemet, Aset went and found every last piece, except for his phallus, because she realized that he couldn't move on, he couldn't transform, he couldn't transcend into the afterlife, broke up like that. So although she couldn't find the phallus, she still was able to use her Reiki energy and transform into a bird and flap over his phallus area and still conceive. So the child was born whole, she was whole again. And although he was missing that phallus, he was still able to go into the afterlife whole. When he transcended. The phallus wasn't found, but when he moved over into the new light, his whole body was back together again. All his pieces and parts was together. So just imagine if she would have never sorted out his body twice, he would have went to the afterlife broken up. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even maybe wouldn't have been able to even get to the afterlife, because you're fragmented. Everything is just all over the place. There's nothing to receive. It's nowhere to go. So I would like to use that story, for once, to think of that's how your soul is. Your soul was cut up in so many different pieces and just shattered. Who will go into the trance state, that delta wave trance state, and go and bring those pieces back. Go and talk to that lost part of yourself, that hurts that, because like I said, the soul is made up of different parts, pieces, and personality. So he'll go to that missing personality and say, "Hey, come back." You know, he or she wants their soul back. They want you to come back. Everything is good now. And you're coming back with a medicine tool, those power animals. He's coming back with those medicine tools for you and your missing parts. So, you know what I'm saying? So your body is restorative now. You're established, you're reestablished, you're restored, you're rejuvenated. And you're not going to get it no other way but that process. No matter how much you pray, you go to church, you could be Pastor XYZ, even he have it. Even his soul is fragmented, you know? So that's deep. That's really deep. Really deep. I was thinking maybe we could if we don't have anything else you want to elaborate on as far as the fragmented soul is concerned. Because I'm thinking about, not even thinking about it, I'm going to do a healing session. Because I know I didn't have the perfect childhood. I know I didn't. And I didn't have a perfect adulthood. And I know somewhere down the line in my life, in my 45 years of my life, some pieces of my soul broke off. I know this. I can't tell you how much percentage it is, but I know it. So from I know better, I think now that I know about this, I know my great greats were brought here from Africa, stolen from Africa, made to labor this land here in North America. You know what I'm saying? And I know they were in shock. I know their DNA was sick from it, and I know it's been passed down. So now I have the opportunity to go and find those missing pieces of my soul to be brought whole again. You know, and these shamans are not hard to find. Like I said, they're not hard to find. Word of mouth sometimes is good. A quick Google search and talking to them on the phone sometimes is good. So if you want it to happen, trust me, it'll happen. Just like if we want anything else in our life to happen, it will happen. Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to say about that?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm thankful to you to bring it out, to
Yeah.
bring it out.
So you want to talk about this?
Um,
Go ahead. What you
full
going
moon. I
this
was
super
gonna ask you about the full moon. Super moon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this super full moon? This is the last super full moon of the year,
Did you wanna
by the way, and it's
play the song
Scorpio
for a
according
minute?
to.
Give you a little time to recharge.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I can give me something to drink and get my
Yeah,
notes and my
yeah.
books together.
All right, so I'll do that. Play the
But
song real quick.
you still got the frequency song from the last time?
Yeah, I was gonna play this Dennis Brown.
Okay. Well, I shall return.
All right.
Yes.
That thing ain't cooperating. It's doing what it want to do.
Oh,
It's on its own frequency right now.
say that again.
I said this music.
Say
It
that
ain't.
again.
It ain't working with me. It's
I never
doing its
heard
own
it.
thing.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
hear
I know it
anything.
was doing. Yeah, it was doing its own thing. It's still doing its own thing right now.
Same thing like
So
before.
I guess we could keep on
I don't
moving.
know what to say. Uh-huh.
That's my fragmented internet connection again.
Oh wow. But what's the problem with that? Why does that happen?
My internet connection needs a shaman too to put these pieces back together over here.
At least the last time it did play a little bit. It just kind of was just breaking up a lot, but it did play. Okay. So now we're gonna move over and talk about the super full moon, which is in Scorpio. I like to go a little deeper according to the medicine way, the medicine wheel. They say that this time is under the turtle, and I'll get into that a little later on. But according to the Western cosmology, yeah, we have a super full moon in Scorpio, also known as the flower moon, because this is when you start seeing flowers bloom, things like that. So it's like the cycle is renewing itself. Springtime is here, and things are starting to be in the blooming stage and things like that. So of course, we know that we could deal with the moon energy and the cycles of the moon to do certain spells or rituals, whatever you want to call it, manifestations, intentions, and we can have these use these powers of the lunar energy to work in our favor. So just a little quick introduction to give you a broader idea on how these out these energies. So you can look at it in a more positive, healing way. Look at it more as if you're helping yourself, something that you're doing to better yourself, to better situations in your life. So spells require thought, preparation, and an understanding of the proper approach, which will allow you to spark the magic in which you will be invoking. An organized ritual is a successful ritual. Working with the elements of nature, timing, and certain configurations puts us in sync with the universal life force energy. The wise spellcaster awaits until everything is in order and does not rush the natural flow of energy that moves like a current in the unseen. Harmonize yourself with these preparatory details, and you will experience the curious and mystic properties they conjure. Act proficiently in your efforts, and you will be rewarded with the results of a task well done. So, when do you perform these rituals, intentions, manifestations? Like how now is a full moon, perfect time, a super full moon at that, which is the last super moon of this year. Energy is high in Scorpio. You know, this is a perfect time. When conducting these spells, use the phases of the moon to set the pace. Be patient and wait for the proper phase, or you may not get the results you seek. The best phases or phases of the moon in which to perform your spells, along with the spell itself, for easy reference. However, here is additional data that will give you a better understanding of how to determine the best phase of the moon for each particular spell. This will also be a benefit to you when creating your own spells for any occasion. Okay, so we're in the full moon, as I said, but last week, a weekly moon, or what they would call a first quarter moon. And in the waxing moon or first quarter moon, the moon appears to be growing in size, shifting from new to full, as though it's gaining strength. It makes sense then that this is a good time to focus on increasing things of your own, your knowledge, bank accounts, relationships. It's a time to think about pregnancy, to increase communications of all types, whether for business or pleasure. Deal with legal matters if you want financial gain or healing. And this is last week's moon cycle, which was, like I said, the first quarter moon, a waxing moon, also known as a waxing, as a crescent moon. Now we're in the full moon, which is called a super full moon. And the full moon is the most powerful phase. When we see her entire illuminated face, this is a time of fulfillment, activity, increased psychic ability for perfecting ideas, getting your act together, celebration or renewing commitments to people or projects. The best time for spells of any kind, the full moon, which is the cycle that we're in right now. So each month has one full moon. When there are two full moons in one month, this is called a blue moon. Every calendar has one blue moon. Ancient people assigned different names for the moons of each month. Different cultures gave the moon different titles to express what the moon meant to them in a given month. Like the Native Americans, they call, some Native American tribes call this super full moon a flower moon. And then you have other tribes that will consider it not just in Scorpio, but also a turtle moon. So some of the moon names make sense, while others may not make no sense at all unless you have the logic behind it. So now we're in the month of May, and like I said, some cultures and some traditions, they don't just call it a flower moon or a turtle moon. They call it a hare moon, Hare, like the hare rabbit. Another uncommon name is the milk moon, the birth of animals, domestic and wild, brings forth the mother's milk, the life giver, and the first food of man and beast. That's what a full moon in May would be called. So let's move on. So now they have there's also days of the week for spells and rituals. Like today is Thursday. The ruling planet for Thursday is Jupiter. This day of the week is good for finances, legal matters, spirituality, and development. If today was Friday, the ruling planet would be Venus. And the best things to do on this day would be the best things for, if you want to do certain things for this day, that will be romantic attractions or relationships, reconciliation, physical makeovers, beautifying your environment. If today was Saturday, the ruling planet will be in Saturn. And that will be best for home related issues, brainstorming, future projects, committing to personal goals, weight loss, releasing bad habits, endings of any kind, relationships, etc. If today was Sunday, the ruling planet would be the sun. And the best things to do for this day would be healing of the body, mind, soul, management, decision making, insights to problem solving, divine intervention, miracles, special friendships. If today was Monday, the ruling planet would be the moon, and things will be best for psychic endeavor, evoking power, creative ideas, divine and inspirational messages, and healing. If today was Tuesday, the ruling planet will be in Mars, and that day would be best for sexual encounters, protection, building strength of mind and body, and confidence. If today was Wednesday, the ruling planet would be in Mercury, and that will be best for careers, job issues, intellectual pursuits, travel planning, and research. But once you tap into doing these things on a more serious level, you realize that you can utilize certain days of the week to manifest certain intentions, and you can have things moving a little bit more efficiently in your life. So the lunation of the moon is approximately 29 and a half days starting from a full moon and continuing until the next full moon. To give you an idea of how the lunation occurs, I have included, the woman who wrote the book is saying this, have included an approximate idea of the moon phase process. For simplifications, day 29 and a half will be considered day 30. So instead of saying day 29 and a half, they just say day 30. And this is a copy of the calendar she's talking about. I don't know if you can see it. Camera seems awkward. Okay, so anyway, that was just some quick food for thought. So where to conduct your spells? Location is ethical and do what is best for you. There are pros and cons to everything, and where to cast a spell is no different. There are those who will say there is nothing like the outside to spend your magic. However, if you live in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, Detroit, Atlanta, or New York, that is not a very wise choice. As we live in modern times of condominiums, apartment buildings, life of the noisy, speeding cars and construction vehicles outside may be too chaotic. In medieval times, for example, things like ambulances, airplanes, railroad trains, and automobile horns were not a concern. Therefore, think in the now and not about what our ancestor situations were. Consider your specific location and determine what alternatives you have available. So I'm just gonna, there's three places that you can work, you can spend your magic, so to speak. Outside, inside, or you can use some tree magic. I'm just going to go straight to the tree magic. Okay. For those who are able to utilize the wonders of the outside world in an area that has many trees, you may want to conduct your spell under or near a special tree. It could be a tree you just get a good feeling from, or a specific tree you seek that has a special quality. Okay. Many cultures feel trees have properties, curative properties, and can dispel negative energy from a person without harming the tree. This is why sometimes just a walk through a national forest or the local park can calm you. If you perform a spell near a special tree, take a moment and feel the energy from that particular tree. Thank the tree for the vibration that it is giving you to walk away. Native Americans and other cultures believe that a tree embodies a living spirit. Don't be surprised, but hugging trees is not as uncommon as one would think. Sometimes a tree has a specific quality that we need. Sometimes that has been depleted within our own bodies. Hence, we have a need to put back that vital force. These are the trees we are usually drawn to, as they can rejuvenate us without taking away from themselves. Example, if your interest in romance has been virtually zero due to conditions in your life like overworking, traveling, or just being without a partner, you may have the need to put yourself near or even hug a oak tree. The oak is said to increase sexuality. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So the following that I'm going to read is a list of trees expressing qualities and substances that are said. So if you live near an ash tree, the ash tree is good for peace, protection, prosperity, and strength. If you have any birch trees in your area, new beginnings, healing of wounds and burns. A cedar tree, coverage, longevity, wealth, self esteem, and purification. Coconut palms, purity, honor, and relaxation. Cypress, past life issues, comfort, protection, ease, the loss of anything. Any elder trees, transformation and change, peaceful sleep, self confidence. Elm trees, protection and meditation, stop slander. If you live near any eucalyptus trees, eucalyptus is good for healing, protection, moon affinity. Any lilacs, activate your chakra energy centers, healing of back pain. Lime trees, divination. Magnolia trees, fidelity, changes, relaxation, and calmness. Maple trees, longevity, love, and money. Myrtle trees, fertility, balance, youth, riches. Oak trees, increasing sexuality, luck, and strength. Pear trees, clarity, energy, confidence, reduction of stress. Pecan, for those who live in Georgia, I know you have a lot of those pecan trees around you. Um, Get under those pecan trees for career issues and job seeking, money and discipline. Pine trees. If you live up in the northern states, I know you got your pines around you. Prosperity, purification, health, exorcisms. Any plum trees, like in Georgia again, love and healing, self confidence. Poplar trees, astral projection, wisdom, mental healing, starting over. Walnut trees, right there in Georgia again, depression, healing, any willow trees, wishes coming true, seductiveness, protection, energy to the sick. So the magic in trees do not have to be activated only when carrying out moon spells, but can be accessed anytime as a natural wealth of refreshment to your body, mind, soul, and spirit. Always thank the tree in silence with a nod of your head for allowing you to receive its special essential qualities and for absorbing your negativity. For the record, the tree is not harmed by this process. It shakes your energy away via the elements and is refreshed within seconds. And you can also leave a glass of water next to the root of the trees or pour the water down into the root of the trees if you don't want to leave the glass there or leave a bottle of water there. You can just pour the water in the root of the trees, and that's like replenishing the tree back for it absorbing your negative energy or whatever you came, whatever situation you came there with, and the tree absorbed it and took it on. You you know, it's like you're giving back something for receiving something. Or like she was saying in the book, nod your head, giving honor. You want to show respect. So as I was saying about the Native American, this time of the month, we know that the super full moon is in Scorpio. We understand that according to the Western cosmology. But according to the Native American medicine wheel, oh, and by the way, that information that I just read to you, I'm reading this out of Moon Spells. And the information that I'm getting ready to go into now is called the Medicine Way. How to live the teachings of the Native American medicine wheel, a shamanic path to self-mastery. Self-mastery. Okay, so super full moon and Scorpio. Okay, well, according to the Native Americans, we're in the element of Earth, which is true because today's May 7th, and if you're thinking about the Western cosmology, we're in Taurus. We're in the sign of Taurus, and Scorpio is opposite of Taurus, and Taurus element is Earth. So it wouldn't make sense that, according to the Native Americans, the element for this time of the year would be Earth and the elemental clan of the turtle. So turtle is the animal, like Scorpio is the insect right now for this full super moon. Well, according to the Native Americans, for this full super moon, it will be the element of Earth, the elemental clan of the turtle. And that's one between people that is born between the 20th. Wait, let me see. Okay, yes. So that would be for people who are born between the 20th of April and the 20th of May. So today's May 7th. And if you're born between the 20th of April to the 20th of May, you will be considered an element of Earth, the elemental clan of the turtle. And the turtle not only reflects the stability and tenacious of elemental Earth, but also its sustaining nature. The turtle is characteristics of elemental Earth because of its fidelity. Hard, protective shell providing comfort and security, and because of its persistence and tenacity, the turtle may appear to be slow and ponderous, but it has the determination to achieve its purpose. Also, in the hare, it was the torso who won the race because it kept going and was not easily distracted like the fleeting hare. Similarly, the turtle reflects the wisdom of having one's feet firmly on the ground and the need to attain stability and security by having solid things around one. And like I said, turtle people are those born between April 20th to May 20th, August 22nd to the 21st of September, and December 22nd through the 19th of January. Like the turtle, they are usually methodical and practical. They are people with a natural affinity with the soil and with plants and growing things. So that's dealing with the Native Americans energy. Around this time, um, around April, between April 20th and May 20th, and you consider yourself a Taurus in the Western cosmology, but you can also consider yourself an elemental clan of the turtle. So I'm looking for, I don't think I marked it here. I'm looking for the Native Americans' view on the full moon. So the full moon is when the influences reach their climax and culmination. So it is time for completing things and for bringing things to perfection. With the full moon, nature reaches a crescendo of activity. So it is a time of fulfillment. So we need to look at this time right now, today, tomorrow, all the way up into Sunday, because the moon will still look somewhat kind of full all the way up to Sunday. Maybe by Monday, Tuesday, it won't be all the way. There won't be a full circle. It'll be a little bottom part will look like it's a little cut off. Maybe it'll be like 80% full, something like that. But you have between now and let's say Sunday to get your moon magic going, try to perfect things that you weren't able to so-called perfect 3 weeks ago or whatever, or intentions and manifestations that you may have written down from when I was here April 22nd talking about the new moon vibes. So all those intentions and all those manifestations that you wrote down for the new moon vibes, you can all those things you wrote down out now and put action into it, because now this is the time to act on it. This is the time to put your money where your mouth is. If you didn't write anything down, you can do that now. You can write down the things that you don't want, and you can burn it under the new moon. You can take you a nice herbal bath, dunk your head in the water 3 times, and give yourself a nice new moon cleansing like that. So I'll give you some things you can do. Some real quick things. Let me just pull up my information. I have it. No, yeah, I have it here. So just some more food for thought. We're in a super full moon in Scorpio, May 7th, 2020. This is a powerful super full moon. Scorpio is the sign of transformation and rebirth. Now we're talking about the Scorpio. We moved from the turtle. Now we're talking about the Scorpio. Be patient and honor whatever emotions and feelings that come up from your soul. This is the time for cathartic release of the past. Trust yourself and remember that self-acceptance is foundational to peace of mind. Something new is coming. Get ready for it. Okay, so beginning of, well, that was the different one. I should read that anyway. I'll read it anyway. Then I'll go back to the other one. So starting May 5th, 2020, the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius is a good time for opening your heart, making up your own mind, trusting your wisdom, getting your attitude, flying freely, and seeing your path. And this node in Gemini, this North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius, will last for the next 18 months. So for the next 18 months, think, open your heart, trust your wisdom, make up your own mind, get curious, expand your attitudes, flying freely, and seeing your path. Now I'm going to read to you how you can work this particular full moon. So this is just general rituals for any full moon, whether it's a super moon, a blue moon, or an eclipse moon, whatever, as long as it's a full moon. So you would like to make a list of everything you want to release and burn it under the full moon, if you can. You want to dunk your head under your bath water 3 times as you state what you are letting go. And you would like to, if you can, meditate outside under the moon, feeling her light restore you. Place your crystals outside overnight to be cleaned and charged by the moon. So these are for a little ritual full moon, especially the writing everything you want to release and burning it, and especially dunking your head 3 times in that bath water and stating what you are letting go. So you're setting the intention, you're sending out what you want to manifest, you're creating your spell, you're creating your magic, however you want to look at it, and you'll see these things start appearing in a more, positive way, in a more positive light. As long as your intentions is good, your attitude is good, and you know that while you're doing these things, while you're burning the paper, that you're releasing what you don't need anymore. When you're dunking your head in the water 3 times, you know that what you're doing is going to work. You convince yourself, you for sure yourself, before it even happens that it already happened. So once you get that confidence in yourself, whatever it is that you do, it will manifest the way you want it to manifest. So, like I said, my references are, of course, The Medicine Way, Moon Spells, Very inexpensive books. They're not a lot of knowledge. And if you want to listen to moon healing sounds, that's easily could be found on YouTube. There's a channel called Meditative Minds, Magnetic Minds, and Calm Well. CALM Well, Calm Well. Um, these healing sounds are good for the moons or any celestial healing sounds. NASA has several recordings from the moon and other planets. So let's just say your planet is Venus, according to your birthday, and you want to hear the sounds of Venus. Just do your little, go to your search engine on YouTube and type NASA Venus recording sounds or healing sounds or sound waves, and you can get hours and hours of Venus recordings. If you want to get hear recordings of the moon, you can get hours and hours of the moon recording. NASA actually instruments into space to record the planet's vibration, frequency, and sounds. So if you have Venus, like I said, in your ruling planet according to cosmology, you can boost up your Venus energy and listen to the frequency sounds of that planet. If you have Mars in your birth chart and you want to hear the sounds of Mars, you want to hear the sounds of Jupiter, you want to hear the sounds of Saturn, NASA has it all, and that will put you, especially like how now is a super full moon, and you want to hear the moon sounds now, or you want to hear some water sounds of the ocean, because the moon and the water, they work together simultaneously all the time. The moon pulls on the currents of the ocean, she pulls on the water in our body, so we're all interconnected. So between the moon and the water sounds, you can always get your relaxation on that way. You can also heighten your rituals or your magic or your releasing that way as well. Or it doesn't even have to be a full moon. Throughout the month, you always it's there for you to do it. You can always do it. So according to the Ifa Yoruba tradition, and that's like a more Nigerian African spiritual system, Yemaya, Yemoja, or Yemanja is the mother, and her planet is the moon. So anytime the full moon, so to speak. So anytime there's a full moon, that Yemaya, Yemoja, Yemanja energy can be invoked for her to assist you with healing, protection, traveling, especially by sea, dream magic, female rituals, removing any female reproductive health problems, specifically with the ovaries and uterus, granting fertility, blessing newborns, assisting in labor, assisting in menopause. Yamaya, Yamoja, Yamanja can be invoked to help assist any male with reproductive health issues, attracting security in finances, job, love, marriage, and your home, removing any bad luck surrounding issues of security, bringing good health and luck into your home, shape shifting you also to be known as a constantly changing woman. Like this would be more geared towards the feminine, you know, the feminine aspect. She can also bring rain, find balance. There's also an invocation prayer or, and I would say, to bring your Maya, your Moja, your Manja more close to you. And that invocation is, you who rule the waters, pouring over humankind your protection, O Divine Mother. Wash their bodies and their minds, performing a cleansing with your water, and instilling in their hearts the respect and veneration due to the force of nature that it symbolizes. Let us protect your group of things and what they protect. We beseech powerful Yemaya, Queen of the Waters, to receive this prayer with love and justice. Give me the required and necessary strength to withstand everything. In your sea of nature and protect my loved ones from all harm and danger. Hail Yemaya, Queen of the Sea. So this is like something you would read every day or when it's a full moon to invoke Yemaya, Yemoja, Yemanja into your life. And to assist you with whatever the ritual you want to do or the moon spells you want to do, because the moon is her planet, and she represents the full moon. She also represents the color blue, the color white, silver, and green. Any ocean colored blue shade colors, Yemaya is that royal blue, the dark, deep royal blues. Um, she represents the inverted 5-point star. She likes pearls. She likes mangoes and watermelon. She likes myrrh, sandalwood, those type of things. And a traditional prayer for Yemaya and was Aya, Iya, Ayaba, Okun, Oma, Iri, Bobo, Awani, Aya. And that translates, Yemaya, your love protects me and helps me. In Spanish, if I'm saying it right, Yemaya tu adoro me protege, ye me ayuda, amen. So yeah, you can work with that energy like that. So Yemaya is mother of all goddesses and goddess of the ocean. Chant celebrates the joining of river to sea and the goddess of the ocean, Yemaya. Like I said, Yamanja is also another name for her. And Yoruba, they will say Yamanja or Yamoja. Other places in the Caribbean may say Yemaya, like we say Yemaya over here. Nigeria will say Yamoja or Yamanja. Maybe Ghana may say Yamoja or Yamanja. So Yamanja is the gush of the spring. The gush of the spring is Yamanja. The mother of the children of fishes is the owner of rivers. The owner of rivers is the mother of the children of fishes. So Yemaya Asesu, Asesu Yemaya. Yemaya Olodu, Olodu Yemaya. Kai 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 Yemaya Olodu, Kai 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 Asesu Olodu. So these are chants, a chord that you can play on a violin or guitar. And the chord would be A, D, E, A, or A, E, A. So it'll be, to give it complete, it's like A, B, M, D, E, A, B, M, E, A. So you're going to play the A note, the D note, the E note, the A note, and you're going to play the A note, the E note, and the A note. If you're an instrumentalist, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. I just wanted to put that out there for those who play music or the piano or things like that, any kind of stringed instrument. Yeah, so just to give you a little brief history on Yamaya, Yamoja, Yamanja. She also has a poem, like a poetry written on behalf of her. And she is the goddess of the sea. She rules the waters. Her element is water. Her planet is the moon. And it goes, strange clouds, fragments of glory, envisioning glimmering stars of a story. Goddesses of waters, with your laughter, the storm you disarm. With your kind word, you return the calm. The breeze of east brings you gentle life. Goddess of the sea and the living waters, your cheek kissed the beautiful moon, and with majesty and stars it filled your mind. The waves carry beautiful roses, which the waters will hide. Their aromas are the hope that makes you the goddess of the sea. So yeah, you want to rise up that motherly energy, you have your Yemaya there for you, your Moja, Yamanja. And then in the Kemet um, aspect, she's called Aset. Aset also deals with the moon. And at one point, Aset was Yemaya, Yamoja, Yamanja. And then when the ancestors traveled from Kemet into Nigeria, into Ghana, of course, the name changes a little bit. When you study Aset and you study Yemaya, Yamoja, Yamanja, you pretty much know that they're the same person. It's just the geographic location. Through the travel over time, over years, things change up. But when you really look at the root of it and you go to the source of it, when you go to the trunk and the root of it, you see that they are the same person. By the time it gets to Americas, through the Caribbean, and then to the Americas, or the Americas and then the Caribbean, wherever it went first, then she's called Urzuli Frida. She's called Yemaya, like I said, or Yamoja, Sometimes the name stayed the same, Yemanja stayed the same, but she is predominantly didn't change too much. The rules are there, just geographic location over time that pretty much makes things shift, but you're still dealing with the same energies. Just wanted to make that clear because some people don't know by Aset. They don't know that there's a connection with Aset and Yemaya, Yemoja, Yemaja. And there is. There's a big connection. They are the same person. It's just like I said, throughout time, our ancestors traveled from Kemet into Nigeria, into Ghana, Americas, Caribbean. When I say Americas, I'm not just talking about North America. I'm also talking about South America, Central America. Because if you go into Brazil, Brazil gives reference to Yemaya, Yemoja, Yemanja. I said they may have another name for her in the Spanish or Portuguese language, but it came from Nigeria to Brazil, and they deal with the same essence, same exact way. Just in their language, people deal with things according to their environment, according to their language that they speak. So let's always remember, kind of like shifting the conversation a little bit. Let's always remember the 10 yamas and niyamas. Exploring yoga's ethical practice, but you don't only have to be practicing yoga to practice these ethical practices. This is something that shapes your moralities, your integrities, you in check, keep you in line in life. So let's not let's don't forget, these practices. And the yamas have 5 ethics, or should I say jewels, and the yamas, the niyamas have 5 jewels. So altogether there's 10. And within the eightfold path, there's 8 limbs, and the yama is limb one, and the niyama is limb 2. So yama has 5 ethics or 5 jewels. Niyama have 5 ethics or 5 jewels. Niyama is the second limb. Yama is the first limb. So the first limb consists of, let's break it down. First limb consists of non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, and non-possessiveness. So let's deal with the niyamas. The niyamas deal with purity, contentment, self-study, and surrender. And I talked about purity and contentment when I first came on program. So I'm just going to review them real quick because I think that a lot of us kind of lose touch of that. And then the next time I'm on, I'll talk about the yamas. Now I'm going to talk about 2 niyamas, the second limb of the Eightfold Path. I'll just refresh these 2, and then the next time I'll talk about 2 of the other yamas that I never talked about. So purity, which is the 6th jewel, is an invitation to cleanse our bodies, our attitudes, and our actions. It asks us to clean up our act so we can be more available to the qualities in life that we are seeking. This precept also invites us to purify how we relate to what is uppermost in the moment. It is the quality of being aligned with our relationship with others and with ourselves. Contentment, which is the 7th jewel, cannot be sought. All the things we do to bring fulfillment to ourselves actually interfere with our own satisfaction and well-being. Contentment can only be found in acceptance and appreciation of what is in the moment. The more we learn the more we learn to leave what is alone, the more contentment will quiet us. So the more we learn to leave what is alone, the more contentment will quietly and steadily find us. So that is the 6th jewel, purity, seventh jewel, contentment, the second limb of the Eightfold Path. And that's the niyamas that I just read. Those two are the niyamas, second limb of the Eightfold Path. Yeah, so that's just to keep you encouraged, keep you self-checking yourself, reminding you, you know, you need to just move right, live right, so you can attract right. Because when you don't live right, you don't attract what's right. You're always going to have issues and problems in your life. You're always going to have a problem relating to people. You're always going to have an up and down situation. And your soul will be more fragmented than ever. You'll just keep losing pieces and parts and personalities of your soul. And then you will just turn in, you will devolve, not evolve, you will devolve into this unpleasant person, broken person. And if you don't check yourself enough and care for yourself, you'll end up dying that way. And another thing, remember to keep your immune system up. And you can always invest in some immune support, golden seal root. It's a golden seal root tincture. And you just fill the droplet up, maybe halfway like this, and put it under your tongue. Keep your immune system healthy. We're in a time where you don't know, just walking into the gas station to pay for your gas, you can inhale something. The mask, that's just a whole nother illusion, you know? So you always just want to keep yourself safe. And this tincture is only but what, $9 at Whole Foods, golden seal root tincture. Take care of your health. Your health is your wealth. Always remember that. And keep your frequency high. Keep vibe at 528 hertz, 432 hertz. Keep that love frequency flowing. Speak your mind with clarity and compassion. Sometimes the fire have to burn, but just know that, you know, you're telling the person the right thing they need to know. Because truthfulness is also a part of the yamas and the yamas of the eightfold, the two limbs of the eightfold path, truthfulness. And that's what I'll talk about next time, because a lot of us is not being truthful. A lot of us is not walking in truth, but we claim we are. So we have our own definition of what we think truthfulness is. And a lot of times that gets us tripped up, messed up. Yeah, brethren, you still there? Yeah, out to lunch.
My connection been so bad since the second part that I've been working
Oh,
on it,
okay.
trying to fix it through. Like the connection been real bad. So
Okay.
I heard
Yeah, I
some of
know
what
at
you
9.
said and not a lot of it. I have to go back and listen myself to
To
the
see what was
YouTube
heard.
so I can,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. So when I was going over the moon spells, I was talking about the moon spell book. Was it cutting up with this one?
I mean, it's still cutting up on my end right now, so I don't even know
Oh,
if you hear me
wow.
clearly or not.
Okay. So it's not my internet, it's your side, right?
Okay, so I'll go back and listen, and hopefully it went through clear, and I'll formulate some questions so we can start off with them the next time. I
Okay.
think the next time we come on is the 22nd.
Yes. Is it
That's
the
a Friday, right?
22nd? Yeah, it's the 22nd. Or was it the 21st? I think it's the 22nd. I mean, the 21st. Let me check just to make sure.
I believe that's a Friday.
Yeah, it is the 22nd. Yeah. At 8 o'clock,
So if it's a Friday,
you
if
said
we
at
could
8 o'clock,
start on at 8 instead of 9, because I have another show at 10, so that way you
right?
can have the time.
Okay.
Because that would be the new moon, right?
Yeah, I remember to start at 8 because you have somebody
Yeah.
coming on at
So
10.
that way we could start at 8 instead of 9. That way you got an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to be able to do what you need to do. And plus, I'll listen to this other part again, and we could start with some questions.
Okay. Okay. So whatever was cut out, if we have some questions that will kind of fill them in of what they didn't hear.
Right.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
But I know the fragmented soul part went through, right?
Right.
Okay. After that, when it started cutting up.
So if you have any closing remarks, and also where people can find you, so we can wrap this up.
Okay, no problem. So yes, I'm also on Instagram, Real Radio Talk 7774. I'm on the Facebook, Nigist Saba Khet. Happy Media, HAPI Media at gmail.com. Blog Talk Radio is Real Radio Talk / it's www.blogtalkradio / Real Radio Talk. If you want to hear some past episodes that I did, last year before last, get more familiar with my radio flow, however. Yeah, that's that. So give thanks for your time and your attention. And I hope you were able to receive the love and the light that I was here to share. And I would hope that you will do your further research on soul fragmentation and see if that's something that you personally need done to bring your soul back together so you can feel whole again and move forward in your life a lot better than how you are now, because we always could use healing. It's something that we can never do without. And if you ever want to get more deep into dealing with the moon situations, you can always reference the moon spell with the medicine way, a Native American shamanic approach. You got you right there. Want to get your ethics built up, try and live in truthfulness, non-possessiveness, non-excess, non-stealing, non-studying. We got the yamas and the niyamas. So thank you. Blessed love to you. Peace and love. Blessed love.
All right. Until next time. Thank you again for your
Yes,
time, your energy, and your knowledge base. Thank you, Queen
yes.
Mother.
You're welcome. Most welcome. Anytime, and it's my pleasure. So I look forward to the new moon vibes, and we'll have some more hot topics going on again. Yeah. And thank you again for your time and your energy and your patience and listening, and you open up your platform today. Yeah.
All right,
No,
y'all.
it's an honor to be
Peace.
here. Yeah. So happy full moon.